Here are the test scores for the guy you filled out the form for. He scored a B minus. This guy is a risky bet. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you. Things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10-dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10-dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
He's unlikely to go very far in his career. Even if he sometimes talks big, he'll do his work properly and be polite with people, but he doesn't have the push or confidence needed to move up in life. If he faces pressure, instead of fighting for what he wants, he may simply step aside or lose interest.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When things go wrong at work, he tends to withdraw rather than fight back. He won't throw a tantrum or get angry, but he might quietly distance himself and not talk much about his problems. He's not the type to bounce back quickly or use failures as fuel for success.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
People at work probably find him easy to get along with and polite. He's not the type to pick fights or argue, and he goes out of his way to avoid drama. Even if he disagrees, he'll often just keep quiet instead of standing his ground.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
He won't feel threatened or insecure if you do well in your career. Instead, he'll quietly appreciate your achievements and be glad for your success, though he may not express it in big or dramatic ways. Most likely, he'll be content letting you shine and won't make a fuss about it.
What if you start earning more than him?
He won't secretly resent you or feel insecure if you earn more than him. He's not very competitive and doesn't tie his feelings of self worth to money or status. So your higher earnings won't bother him. He won't pick fights or make snide comments about your success.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He doesn't spend money carelessly, but he's not super strict about saving either. He's comfortable with everyday spending and isn't likely to make wild or risky purchases. He prefers simple pleasures over flashy things, and big financial decisions might make him uneasy or hesitant.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He lives within his means and doesn't pretend to be richer than he is. You won't find him showing off or trying to impress others with fancy things he can't afford. He is content with what he has and prefers comfort over display.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He is polite and gentle with others, but he's somewhat reserved when it comes to kindness and generosity. He's not stingy or harsh, but he might not go out of his way to help or share unless someone asks directly. If you need support, he'll offer it in his own quiet way, but you may not get grand surprises or gifts.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He isn't secretive or controlling about money, but he might not always be very open either. He tends to keep things to himself, not because he wants to hide anything, but because he feels uncomfortable talking about tricky topics like finances. Instead, he quietly manages his own money and prefers to avoid conflicts.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He won't insist that housework is only your job, but he also might not speak up or jump in without being asked. He is polite and prefers keeping the peace. So, if you talk about sharing chores, he will quietly agree and help out where he can. He's not stuck in old fashioned ideas, he simply needs gentle nudges to step up.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He is more likely to help in a gentle, quiet way rather than just sit back and supervise you. He isn't the type who bosses you around or watches from a distance while giving instructions. He values peace at home and won't argue, but he appreciates clear direction.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He doesn't argue just to prove he's right, and he isn't the type to pick fights over small things. Instead, he mostly listens quietly and tries to avoid conflict. When you share your side, he will hear you out, though he might not say much in response.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he stays respectful and keeps his feelings mostly to himself. He isn't the type to shout, say hurtful things, or act aggressive. He values peace and would rather step back than create a scene.
Does he have a bad temper?
No, he isn't the kind of man who gets angry very quickly. He's usually calm and doesn't let little things upset him. You don't have to worry about sudden outbursts or feeling unsafe around him.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
He can say sorry and take responsibility, though he might do it in a quiet, simple way rather than making a big moment out of it. He isn't the kind to blame you or shift fault just to protect his ego. With a little patience, you'll see that he values peace and admits his faults when needed.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
Yes, he will respect your boundaries and understands that no means no. He is polite and doesn't like causing discomfort or pushing anyone past their limits. He values peace and won't try to control you or cross lines you set.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
He won't take it personally if you're not in the mood for intimacy. He understands that everyone has their own feelings and needs, and he'll respect your choice without making you feel guilty or upset. If you ever want to talk about it, he'll listen without judgment.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
Yes, you can trust him to handle private moments with care. He's not the kind of person who would use your trust against you or bring up personal things just to shame or embarrass you later. If there's ever a problem, he's more likely to stay quiet than to hurt you with personal details.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He is generally faithful and not the type who easily gets distracted by other women. He values comfort, routine, and keeping life simple, so he prefers to stay committed rather than chase new excitement. If he feels disconnected, he might withdraw into himself rather than look for someone else.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
No, he is not over possessive. He doesn't act jealous, try to control you, or keep asking suspicious questions. He is comfortable letting you have your freedom and respects your boundaries.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, his protective nature is not a sign of a controlling personality. He is gentle, polite, and prefers to keep the peace. Rather than take charge or boss you around, you won't find him setting strict rules, questioning your every move, or making you feel trapped.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He won't expect you to do everything, but he may quietly fall into the habit of letting you take the lead just because he's not very assertive or proactive. He is willing to help if you ask, and he won't argue about sharing duties, but he might not automatically notice what needs to be done or jump in on his own. If you want parenting to feel like a real team effort, gentle reminders and clear conversations will help.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he will stay calm and not lose his temper. He doesn't react with anger or harsh words, even when things get messy or emotional. He believes in keeping peace at home, so you won't have to worry about sudden outbursts.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
Yes, he will support your role as both a mother and your own person. He understands personal boundaries and respects your independence, so he won't expect you to sacrifice your identity for the family. If you want to take time for yourself or focus on something outside the home, he won't create drama or guilt.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later after kids and marriage change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
No, he's not the kind of man who would secretly hope you quit your career after having a child. He respects your choices and won't trick you with hidden expectations. If he supports your work now, it's genuine and not part of a plan to change his mind later.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He will be polite and respectful to your parents, but his warmth might stay on the surface. He isn't naturally open or expressive, so while he won't be rude or cold, he may not go out of his way to build a close bond with them. With gentle encouragement, he might open up a bit more, but his main approach will be quiet respect. He will quietly try to adjust to your family rather than expecting them to change for him.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or interferes, he will handle it calmly and not make things worse. He doesn't like drama and avoids arguments, so he's more likely to step back or stay quiet rather than react strongly. Even if he's bothered inside, he won't raise his voice or stir up trouble.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you, but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
He is not the type to demand loudly that you act like a traditional supportive wife in front of his relatives, but he may quietly expect you to follow some family customs out of respect and to keep the peace. He values harmony and avoids conflict. So, if his family has certain ways of doing things, he might hope you blend in rather than stand out. However, he won't force you or scold you if you do things your own way. He's more likely to accept things quietly.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension, he will usually stay out of it rather than jumping in to support you or take sides with them. He doesn't like conflict and prefers to keep things peaceful, so he may become quiet or avoid getting involved directly. His goal is not to hurt you or favor his family, he just wants to avoid drama as much as possible.
Say you have a conflict with his mother, what will this guy do?
He's not a classic mummy's boy, but he does avoid conflict and finds it hard to take strong sides, especially in family matters. If there's a disagreement with his mother, he is more likely to stay neutral or quiet rather than boldly support you in front of her. His way is to keep everyone calm, and sometimes this means not giving you the clear support you may wish for.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
He is unlikely to share every detail of your fights or private life with his mother or sister. He values privacy and prefers to keep personal matters inside the home rather than involving others. This means your relationship has a safe space to work through problems without fear of gossip or interference.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
Based on all we know about him, this guy is a B minus. This guy is a risky bet from a relationship perspective. Being in a relationship with this man means life is mostly calm, gentle, and peaceful. He isn't very expressive or outgoing, so you'll find him quiet and steady, more of a listener than a talker.